Hi, I'm John Sove, and this is Art and Design. Today our guest is Simone from ArtServe.
ArtServe was founded in 1997. We're looking a little different than we did back then because we've gone through a merger in 2006. We merged with the Michigan Association of Community Arts Agencies, also known as MACA. ArtServe is the statewide independent nonprofit organization focused to arts advocacy for the state of Michigan. So we advocate, support, and connect Michigan's arts and cultural sector.
Now, one thing that I know you have a direct responsibility for is communication from, and I say this in a sense that you've done a great job at getting the ArtServe name out there with what you've been given as your new position.
Great,
Can you go into some of that?
Sure. When I first started ArtServe, actually, I was Director of Constituent Relations, and that role, the roles are very similar. Now I'm Director of Strategic Communications, but really what was needed is we needed somebody out in the field that was meeting the people that were making the difference in our communities and connecting them to ArtServe's information, the information we try to coordinate at a statewide level for everybody. So that was what was needed. But then as we moved forward, we realized we needed more of a voice for the public. We talked a lot to ourselves in terms of the arts and culture world. We all know each other. We know about each other's programs. But the general public is kind of separated from that. So we just launched creativeimpactmichigan.com, which is an example of that type of outward messaging where we're getting professional communicators to tell those stories from the creative sector and the creative industries. So we start to flesh out the definition of what is creativity in Michigan, what does it have to offer us as a state in our economy and our communities. So that's what I've been doing with them at this point, and very proud of our magazine. We just, we call it an e-magazine. It's also an events database. That is our big public face out there, and it's our kind of first big project trying to tell those stories to the public. And I think hopefully we're doing a good job. I know that I'm very excited to be waking up in the morning and talking to some of the coolest people in the state and sharing their stories with the rest of the state.
Well, and again, it is an e-magazine that everyone has access to. And it really, I have to compliment you that you really put it together well, because prior to that, ArtServe was a great organization, a culmination of the two organizations coming together that did a lot of good things. But to get that information out there, this e-magazine is brilliant. And not only do you have great stories on people that are doing things and positive things for the state and the state arts agency, but you also have the listings. And this is all available to anyone.
Yeah, actually when I first started with ArtServe, well, I'll speak about the event listing side, because I'd say about 60 to 70% of the communication I get from others in arts and culture at ArtServe was related to, you know, can you use your statewide audience to help promote my events? And that, you know, that's a natural question. It's a common question. And so when we decided to come out with this e-magazine, which was going to be focused on those stories of the sector, we said, well, this makes sense to also allow that free calendar that anybody can create an account and put their events out there to be searched according to genre, according to price, according to geographic location, any number of factors. And we're partnering with a lot of other local calendars on that content. We realized this was a need. I mean, this was something that people really look to ArtServe for in terms of our statewide audience and getting their information about their local events out to that statewide audience. So the stories with our professional writers and videographers being developed by that team, along with the calendar fueled by Michigan's creative sector that's just putting their own events on there, those two things in the same spot at creativeimpactmichigan.com is, it was a natural fit to bring those things together.
Well, and it's a valuable resource to people in the arts community and really the whole community to find information about what's happening locally as well as statewide.
Yeah, we really feel that there is a void, I guess. It wasn't really ArtServe's competency to be in, you know, in the communications world with the e-magazines and promoting people's events. That's not really our world, but there was a void that wasn't being filled by anybody. Government didn't have the capacity to fill that themselves, and the news, you know, is kind of focused on you know, the stories. A lot of times if it bleeds, it leads. So even positive stories can be hard to find sometimes in today's news, much less stories that look at complex issues like creativity and what is it actually, how does it connect to economy? How does it connect to education? How does it connect to entrepreneurship? I mean, these are complex things that you're not going to probably find on your 6 o'clock news. And so we realized that we needed to actually invest in this type of effort if it was going to happen.
Well, and I again commend you, because I know you had the lead on a lot of these issues when it came to this, but putting together the e-magazine and realizing that you're really helping out the arts community just tremendously by raising awareness about what those local activities or events are in different communities across the state. Without you helping to promote that, there'd be another void with, communication. Now we just got to promote the e-magazine the way it needs to be promoted, and you've done a great job with it. Sure. But you can always use more press.
We could always use more press. We're reaching over 60,000 email subscribers with the e-magazine right now, so you can go to the website creativeimpactmichigan.com and just view whatever the live issue is or go through past stories. But you can subscribe on that site also, and then you receive every second and fourth Thursday of every month, you receive it directly to your email, so you get kind of a reminder. The idea in terms of, we definitely want more people. A lot of those people are already art lovers. They're kind of in touch with what's going on in the art world, but we want everybody who loves Michigan and loves creative things, or whether they're business people or whether their family's looking for something to do. We really feel like this is a good hub of information in terms of that leisure information and also that big picture, where is Michigan going and where do the creative industries fit into our future kind of conversation.
Well, and to plug the e-magazine again, it is free.
Yep. Free.
And it's such a wealth of information when it comes to the creative class in Michigan. There's no reason not to sign up.
And I'll say it's free, and I'll give a plug here to all the great sponsors that have made it free for us, because it's also, I think, attests to the level of confidence in terms of this, in the level of need for a project like this. The National Endowments for the Arts is a sponsor. Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs is a sponsor. The Ford Motor Company Fund, Masco Corporation Foundation, the Community for Southeastern Michigan was a great supporter of this project. So is the Irving S. Gilmore Foundation and the Erb Family Foundation. So we really got a government at the national and state level. We've got community foundations, and we've also got corporate foundations. So it's really what I had envisioned in terms of a real public-private partnership. I think that that's the way we need to tackle a lot of problems in this state, regardless of what industry we're talking about. It's not, the government can't do it all in themselves, and the corporations stand to gain when our state does well, and they expect pain when our state doesn't do well. So we've all got to pitch in a little bit together when it comes to taking on these big issues.
Another point I want to make about this, because we've talked about the listings where you're providing free space for arts organizations to promote their events. But the other side of this magazine is you've got writers. You've got a paid staff of writers that are doing these stories. It's not just a mishmash of stories or anything else. It's a well-done, well-designed e-magazine.
Yeah, and I really feel I'm really proud to be part of that kind of entrepreneurial push. ArtServe isn't the only one. There's a lot of folks in the creative industries right now who I think are helping to define what art is in the new millennium and where creative industries are going. And creative industries doesn't mean just for-profit. There are a lot of community organizations that I would include in creative industries because they're providing a service or goods that there's a need for, a demand for, and they're keeping their doors open by doing innovative things, whether it's fundraising or earned income. So creative industries is a broad area that I think that we need to take a much deeper look at.
Simone, thanks for coming on Art and Design.
Definitely. Thanks for having me.